The rise of Jonathan. A story of divine favor and unshakable faith. The morning sun broke through the clouds over Jerusalem, painting the city in soft gold. The streets were quiet, heavy with the weight of years of conflict and disappointment. The people of Israel had endured betrayal, oppression, and endless wars. Their faith, once fierce and unshakable, had grown dim. Many wondered if God still walked among them or if his promises had faded with time. Among them lived a man named Jonathan, son of Mattathias, brother of Judas Maccabees, the great warrior who had once led Israel to victory. Jonathan was not known for his might in battle or his eloquence in speech. He was known for his heart. When others sought power through politics, Jonathan sought peace through prayer. When others schemed for position, he knelt in humility before God. He had seen his brothers fall in battle. He had seen the temple defiled and the people scattered. Yet, through every loss, Jonathan held on to one truth: that God's covenant with Israel was unbreakable. Even when the world seemed silent, Jonathan believed that heaven was still speaking. One day, as the people gathered in the marketplace, a royal messenger arrived from the palace of King Alexander Balas. The crowd pressed in as the scroll was unrolled. The king had appointed Jonathan as high priest and ruler over the land. Murmurs rippled through the crowd, some in disbelief, others in awe. Jonathan stood still, his eyes lifted toward heaven. He knew this was not the work of men. It was the hand of God, moving in ways no one could have predicted. He accepted the mantle, not as a symbol of power, but as a sacred trust. From that day forward, Israel began to change. The people who had once been divided by fear and doubt began to unite under Jonathan's leadership. The temple, once silent, came alive with worship again. The sound of trumpets echoed through the city as priests returned to their duties. Families who had lost hope began to rebuild their homes. Farmers returned to their fields, and children played in the streets without fear. Jonathan's leadership was unlike any other. He did not rule with an iron hand but with a heart surrendered to God. He walked among the people, listening to their burdens, praying with them, and reminding them that the God who had delivered their ancestors was still with them. One evening, as the sun set behind the hills, Jonathan gathered the people in the courtyard of the temple. The air was thick with the scent of incense and the sound of quiet weeping. He raised his hands and spoke. "Do not look to me for strength," he said. "Look to the Lord who gives strength to the weary. It is not by my hand that peace will come, but by his. The same God who lifted me from obscurity will lift this nation again." The people bowed their heads, and a holy silence filled the air. In that moment, they felt it, the undeniable presence of God. It was as if heaven itself had drawn near. From that day on, Jonathan became more than a leader. He became a living reminder that God's promises never fail. His life was proof that divine favor can rest upon anyone who walks in faith and humility. This story is not just ancient history. It is a mirror for today. In every generation, God raises Jonathans. They may not wear crowns or command armies, but they carry his presence wherever they go. They are the parents who pray for their children when no one else will. The teachers who speak life into broken hearts. The believers who stand firm when the world wavers. When life feels uncertain, when the world seems dark, remember Jonathan's story. God's favor is not limited by circumstance. His power is not bound by time. He still moves through ordinary people to accomplish extraordinary things. Jonathan's rise was not about ambition. It was about alignment. When a heart aligns with God's will, heaven responds. When faith replaces fear, miracles begin to unfold. The people of Israel saw it with their own eyes. A man chosen by God, walking in divine purpose, turning despair into hope. And through his life, they rediscovered what they had almost forgotten: that God is real, that he is near, and that his promises endure forever. Even now, that same God is writing new stories of redemption. He is still raising leaders, still restoring faith, still proving that his presence is not a memory. It is a living reality. The rise of Jonathan is the rise of faith itself, a reminder that when God's hand is upon a life, no darkness can prevail, and no promise will ever be forgotten.